Okay, here we go.
Hey guys, it's me, John from Speed Style.
No, not yet. Start again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, do it again.
All right, guys, this is John from Speed Style.
Oh, hold on, hold
And
on, hold on. Okay,
this
now
guy.
do it again.
Nope, I'm not doing it again. Oh wait, I gotta.
It's messed up.
I have
What's
to
messed
mute
up?
I know. This
It's
guy.
Austin from Team So Icy Boys.
Wait, is that a show you're gonna final bout,
Dude, I wish, man. I really wish.
dude? I would like to just hang out with everybody and like be in the same line. I don't care if I'm on the last like driver, but
Yeah.
I'm not quite there yet.
Yeah, that's a different track, man. That's
So, hey guys.
It's up to you. Oh,
No, yeah. Now do it, John.
all right. Hey guys, this is John again from Speed Style. We have Austin M from PDX RC Underground. This guy's only been drifting for maybe a month. Picks up a RDX, bang doors with everybody.
No. Wait. That's not what he started off with, but we'll get to
Yeah.
that later.
yeah,
But that's a good introduction.
yeah. That's
So
good.
Austin, tell us who you are and what you do.
All right, so I'm Austin Martinez, and what I do is toy cars for fun. That's what I do.
Nice. Well, what's that bright lights right there and a little box?
This is my beautiful gaming PC that costed way too much money, but it's good for the brain. Keeps me busy.
Good for the
But-
brain.
Yeah, when I built this thing, I made it so I could get back into photography. It's a big thing, so works great.
Nice. And
So you use a '90s video camera for the stuff that we've seen.
Exactly. Yeah.
he doesn't like filters.
Yeah, I want a big collection, man. I sold my nice camera a long time ago, so it's fun.
Is that a way to get back up? Also, like I haven't seen any new releases on videos.
In the what?
You haven't released like any new.
Oh yeah,
Video.
well, because I'm gonna be working with Kevin doing TikTok reels for PDX, but when was that we drove that Sunday that was kind of busy after the kids camp, and I got sick for like a week, dude. I couldn't even look at my screen, so I was like, I can't edit. And then
Were you there with the kids?
I was there with Judd, who did the kids camp.
Yeah, that's why.
That's what got me, dude. They got me
Kids are absolutely like gross little monster creature
little
carrying
petri
things.
dishes, dude. Yeah, they're like a dirty sock just rolling around. It's so
Pretty
bad,
much.
but
Pretty
yeah,
much.
and then I had a work conference, so it's like this whole. I have like a bunch of projects going. I just need to get to it, but I'm still trying to catch up on my hobbies and all my other stuff because like the filming right now is kind of like on the back end. It's like driving first, like working, driving first, and then the filming comes with it. And then once I have the time to do it, that's like you lock it in. So
Nice. So where you're located?
I'm in West Lynn, so about
We-
15
we-
minutes from Portland.
Cool. Do you have a home track that you would call a home track for RC drifting?
PDX is the home track for me.
Cool. And what do you think about the environment at PDX as far as like, let's say I'm a new guy and I want to show up?
I think it's amazing. The biggest reason I got into it because I've been toying with the idea, and I remember my coworker was doing carpet racing, and he was like, "Hey, they did a drift track out there." I'm like, "No way!" Because way back in the day, I had a all-wheel drive HPI that I would take the bus to Clackamas Town Center, and there was a hobby store in there with a carpet track, and I would go and all-wheel drive drift with a bunch of the guys way back. I couldn't even drive yet, and I was like, I might get back into it, and so I picked up my YD2Z from Nick Rodriguez and went and drove PDX on a random weekday, and I think I might have met both you guys my first time there. I think you were both there. It was a Sunday. You guys were definitely both there.
Yeah, you had a very Nick setup.
Yes, it was it's about as Nicholas as it gets, dude. And
They're not bad setups.
yeah, started learning, and the biggest thing that got me is like RC drifting at that track, and just RC drifting in general has all the good vibes that the car scene used to have, without like all the like backhanded compliments on your car, and like, you know, someone saying something about your car and then turning their back and going somewhere else, or like, you know, I don't like that thing, like right after talking to you. It's like that doesn't really happen there. It's just good vibes all around. So it's a good time. It really like brings me back to like how it feels, how the drift scene and car scene used to feel way back when I was in it, when I was first starting out.
Nice. So
hold on, pause. We've got Mile High RC. Random question. Sorry, I just want to keep up on these. Austin, what CPU cooler do you have?
Ooh, I'm running the Kraken. It's the NZXT Kraken X73.
It's like the $300 one. Like
yeah, it's the 3-fan cooler with the LCD screen that's programmable. The all white version. They just made that one. I think they just released it right before I built this.
Right on.
Yeah. Thing. It's a ripper, man.
Question
Rips.
answered.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about more nerdy stuff about that later. But okay, let's keep on going.
All right. So since you were talking about when you first got started with RC, what RC did you start with?
It was, man, I can't remember what the the actual
Spring
model was for the H. Yeah, no, that sounds right. Yeah.
Was it a belt drive or was it the shaft driven one?
It was the shaft driven one because I broke it.
E10.
Yeah, I broke it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a HPI E10.
Those things are so loud.
It's extremely loud. That's why I wasn't allowed to do it in the house. But yeah, my buddy had 2 of them, and at the time, he was 3 years older than me, so he had his license, and he'd pick me up from school, and like we go do car stuff, and he had 2, and we'd always take him to this little asphalt spot at our school, like by the basketball courts. There's a bunch of pillars, and we just drive him around. And he gave it to me for my birthday, and I just got obsessed with it at the time. But I didn't have a job, so it was like I'd break stuff, and I'm like, I don't even know how to fix it, let alone afford buying parts, and didn't really have the access to like ordering stuff online that we do now. So it was like if the store didn't have it, then you got to order it through the hobby store, and then who knows how long till you get it type stuff. And usually I could find someone that had like a spare parts bin, or but that was back in the counter steer days. That was like when all my friends started doing counter steer, and I was like, so rear wheel drive, what's going on? Like, you know, like,
oh yeah, way back when.
Yeah, it was cool though. It's cool.
Wait, how old are you?
I'm 28.
He's a baby.
Yeah, but he's still using the term counter steer like he was a part of that era.
Dude,
you gotta remember he probably hung out with like Nick, Marcus this whole time.
I didn't even know them back then. That's the crazy part. Like I didn't meet them till 2010. Was the first time I met them. But yeah, I basically had all older friends because I liked cars, but I wasn't old enough to drive yet. So it was like they were taking me to car meets, or like, oh, we're all gonna go over to his house and work on stuff in his garage, drive the RC cars, and we'll come pick you up type stuff. And they're like, yeah, look at this new stuff I got in the mail. And it was a counter steer setup. And we're like, whoa, what is that? You know? And like, I was so young still at the time. So, but at least I'm happy to be a part of it. Not a lot of people, like people getting into it now, they didn't even know that was a thing. You say counter steer, like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
that's true.
No, exactly. Like we were talking about it last week with Roy, and like it was just like nostalgia talk all the way through it. But yeah.
Yeah. It was good stuff. That I wish I could remember what that hobby store was, but it's
the one in the mall.
Yeah, because they had like it like they even had like on ramps and like overpasses too.
Yep, I drove there a couple of times, and I actually kind of did part time for the guy after the whole drifting thing back in like I want to say like 16, 17. I actually like kind of did part time. So it was called Extreme Toys.
Did
Yes.
they originally have, like, when they first started, was it just like they were using the tile in the store?
I didn't drive
No,
there.
it was
I think
carpet
they
already.
went straight to carpet. Yeah.
Yeah, it
Okay.
was carpet already, and it was I think part of it was Momo's doing.
Mhm.
Yeah, so
Because I
because Momo
remember,
was working there.
yeah, I remember going to some mall and like actually driving in the mall.
Like on the tile.
Yeah, like on the tile. Just like they had just started.
Yeah. It's
Maybe it was tile, and then they put carpet eventually,
yeah.
but it was like way back when.
If I remember right, the floor still was tile, but it was the carpet overlay just on the track with like all the walls and barriers.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like the whole store was carpet.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's crazy. You see a lot of people in like the worldwide pages, and like that's their main tracks are just like a flat space in the middle of the mall, and there's like people walking by, and it's just like all cones everywhere, and that's their track. Like their home track is just spot on the
Well,
mall.
it's like a start, right? And
Mhm.
like you can't really, I don't know, because businesses can just block off the middle of their,
Yeah.
especially if it's like just a retail store, like say Hobbytown or something like that.
Hmm.
So, but it's cool. I mean, it's a start, and like the whole RC drift is just gaining more popularity because there's more outlet now, and
Yeah.
people are seeing it.
Yeah. I know I've talked to at least like 3 people. Like I know Ryan, the guy that's with Judd, he came up to me and he's like the whole reason I started coming here was I saw one of your videos, like your film videos. I was
Mhm.
like, oh no way, I had no idea. And he was like, yeah, he was like, I saw that and I was like, I want to do that basically, and
Yeah, that's
connected with
cool.
the guys. And yeah, so it's like I love that. It's like I just want to keep bringing, like, it's such a good vibe just having more. Like I remember the first time you told me that I was getting better. You're like I love it because it's some more people that I get to drive with. Like you're driving faster, I get to drive with more people, and I'm feeling the same way. It's like the more people that I can
Mhm.
run doors with, the better. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, but now you're just too fast.
yeah, everyone always says that.
No, not really. I think I can keep up. I can keep up pretty well.
Yeah, no, you definitely can. Both of you guys can,
That car is stupid fast though. Still,
dude. It's
we'll have to talk about that
yeah.
because we all know it's a RDX. So let's start with the chassis that you talked about the YD2Z that
Mhm.
Nick had.
Yep.
What setup did you run on that? I do remember showing up at Marcus's or something in the middle of the night.
Oh, that was a struggle. Yeah, we were trying to use flux core. It wasn't working. Yeah, because I used the solder that I used for my I've done a couple hold on custom like Arduino like Guitar
Hey,
Hero controllers. So I soldered these
Mhm.
all together. I got like keyboard switches. I got like aftermarket strum, and it's hardwired. Like I did all this, and so I was like, oh, like it worked amazing. And then I was trying to solder my stuff together, wouldn't stick. I'm like, what is going on? And Mark is like, dude, just bring it over. And I drive all the way out there, and it's the same solder wire that I did, and it was not working. So he called Nick, and you were over there soldering his stuff. He's like, what are you doing after? And I was like, tell him I got $20 because he's like solders this up for us.
bring
And
your
you-
solder iron.
Yeah, he pulled up with the kit. I was like, man, you guys.
It just makes it easier. Like,
Yeah. It was funny because Taylor came out and she's like, you're doing that wrong. And Mark is like, okay, boss, show me how it's done. And she actually got the flux to stick. And we were just like, what? And she just goes, that's how you do it. And once away.
nice.
It's hilarious. But yeah, so I got the YD2Z off Nick, and it had I think it had like the starter ESC, and it had what I thought was a 13.5. What was that? There's the motors that Kevin carries. Uh,
Hobby Wing.
yeah, it was a hobby wing, but I didn't like it. And then I had a Oniseki gyro, so then I immediately ordered BL Pro 4N ESC and the Yokomo 10.5 because I thought I had a 13.5, but I was wrong. It was just upside down, and yeah. So then I got a better 10.5 and B4 gyro, and then Ended up doing after like aluminum lower control arms. Swapped out the plastic shocks for big bores, which I think you still have the plastic ones. And
Oh, those are gone.
oh yeah, sure. But
I have
basically,
like whatever bag you gave me. There was like other shocks in there. I
yeah,
still have those.
yeah. I mean, like I drove it that one day, and then a couple of you guys drove it, and I was like, time to make it better and spend some money. And then,
Nice.
yeah, good old
So,
YD2Z.
What happened with the YD2Z now?
Well, it was so I got my RDX because I love
Oh, okay,
how
okay.
it drove.
Now,
Yeah,
let's talk about the RDX first.
yeah. So I got got the RDX. I can't remember.
Okay.
I think Judd's was the first one I drove. He was like, "Try this thing," and I was like, "What is it?" And he said, "Just drive it." And I was like, "Whatever." And I drove it, and I was like, "Dude, I can put this thing wherever I want. Like this is crazy." And then we take it up. He takes his body off, and I was like, "There's not even turnbuckles on this thing." And I was like, What is this?" He's like, "It's an RDX." And because I remember Nick had ordered one up, and it was way back in the group chat. And I was like, "Oh, Nick got a new chassis. It's all plastic, whatever." And I didn't realize it was the same thing. I was like, "Man, I need one of these," because we had done so much tuning to my YD2Z to get it to where it was, and it still wasn't how I wanted it to feel. And so, got the RDX, robbed all my electronics off the Z, threw it on there, but everyone was still running stock RDX base plate and everything, and I just went off the rails and ordered like my carbon kit, rear mount, servo, and did high everything, rear mount ESC, but then all the other suspension is by the books besides my front caster. But I drove it, and just how different it felt, like right off the bat, being lighter, I loved it, and just ordered some knuckles and a bunch of other stuff for it, and it's just feels insanely good for how much money it is. It's
Wait,
insane.
so you're saying that upgrading your RDX makes a difference?
Yeah,
What?
big time.
No.
Big time. Yeah. At first, everyone's like, "No, just drive it stock. Just drive it stock." And I was like, I love how everyone's drives stock, but I kind of want to feel the difference. So, but
which is what we do, right? Like my RDX is my go-to chassis. Like it's a chassis that doesn't get tuned or changed and things like that, except for I call it the driver's mod car. It's like a Miata. It's only
100%.
fast if you drive it fast.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So that's kind of how I look at it. But so because I drove yours a couple weeks back following Nick and stuff, and you have a video of that, which is cool.
Yeah.
So it's banging doors with Nick.
Yeah.
It's weird because it's the same RDX minus the chassis, right? Do you want to share? You want to share that chassis with us?
Yeah, I can go grab it if you guys. I can show
Yeah,
it.
if you want, we can do show and tell, and also grab the other chassis. That
Oh yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
1 second.
Cool.
I mean, it's not like the people haven't seen it before.
But it's kind of cool that this one, it's not very popular. I don't think as far as like the RDX chassis.
Oh wait, is it another RDX chassis?
No.
Or is it the ZX? It's the Z.
It's you'll see.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, Mile High RC's chiming in with Arduinos and FPV is going to be something more big this year. I think so.
And we're back. So this is the body. I'm rocking on the RDX right now.
That body reminds me of Ryan Literal's video with Ladder Chen in like New Orleans.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know why, but it just every time I see it, I'm like, yeah.
This color is. I have such good luck with finding bodies that are already done. Like on, I think it's Worldwide RC. Most people is where I've gotten most of my stuff.
That means you need to start hopping on Bai.
On Bai?
On Bai.
Yeah,
that's where Jake and Alex live.
Bro, I just swooped that the ABC 1 via like the pig nose front lip pop up, and then I got buckets, and I got like wrap up necks, tail light, and headlight film, I got a bunch of stuff, but yeah, I need to stay off there is what I need to do because my wallet's gonna be hurting. This is the RDX as it is right now.
So that's the Team AD carbon, right?
Okay,
Yep.
so is it Team AD or AD team? Because
80, I think it's 80 team,
the
but
team is always below the AD.
yeah, see, it's their page says 80 team, and then so I know in Japan and China, like surname or like
Yep.
it's usually flipped.
Yeah.
It's usually
Mhm.
flipped. So I'm pretty sure it's Team AD, but it's it's slotted pretty well. It's not designed to be a full flex chassis, but it's got, like, as you can see, it's got a lot of flex to it.
No, he's just strong. You don't know it.
Yeah. And then I'm rocking the like Team AD cross brace with the LED connector. So
Mhm.
it's, and then this was the biggest thing, this bad boy right here. Yeah.
So we'll do before we get into that. Show me the bottom of the chassis again. So on the bottom of the chassis, right in the middle of back,
Mm-hmm.
is your chassis upside down? Because it looks like there's a cutout there for the wires, like how they did it with the MC1.
So that's what I thought too. But if you ran it like that, there's no inlet like for the screws to set in. But that's what that's what I was like, did I just get one that was flipped?
No, they just wanted you to run the wires like old school underglow, just having the wires hang down.
I mean, technically you probably could and be fine, but
Not suggested. Don't do that.
yeah,
Right.
no.
No, so because I've drove yours, right? I've been looking at that same chassis. Which version is that? Is it the V1 or the V2?
I believe it's the V1. I'd have to look. I think it's the V1 because I think the V2 is more square.
But
Yeah.
how much did you pay for that? Like, so retail cost according to the site. Start with that.
Retail, the plate and crossbars were 50
Yeah,
bucks.
it's so cheap.
Yep.
That's
And
why
then-
it's milled upside down.
Yeah, well, the thing that gets you is the shipping. That's what gets
Oh
you
yeah,
good.
so that's where I want to go next because it's not Team
Available
AD or
in the
AD
US.
team is not a straightforward process. So
No.
tell us that.
How I had to go about it, because this is before I just found out that you can do there's a broker app called, I'm gonna put you guys on, where is it, man, my phone might have uninstalled it. I'll try and find it, but there's a broker app because you have to go through Taobao, which is like,
Sketchy looking
dude,
side.
this process is such a pain. So basically, they have, I can explain it like Etsy. So say there's an Etsy account, right, that makes stuff,
Mhm.
and you buy straight from them. Instead, you buy it through Etsy, right, and then they would ship it to Etsy's warehouse, and then they would inspect your stuff, and then from there, if everything checked out for international shipping, then you pay the Etsy to ship it out to you. So there's basically an extra step, and you're paying small shipping the first time, and then your international shipping the second time. And the reason why it's like this is because there's so many things on this app, like it's insane, and you can just order 100 things, and they'll all come from different people, and you can combine the order and ship it all at one time to yourself overseas to save shipping. That's basically why they do it.
It's the
but-
middleman.
Yeah,
middleman.
pretty much. But there's only limited amount of Google Translate for the site, so you have to do it on your desktop, and they don't accept international, like USD converted payments. So I had to get another app called Ally Pay, which basically it creates almost like a false international bank account. It basically banks through them. And so you have to add your order through Ally Pay and get your card accepted through them. And then you pay them through this app and then go to the other app to confirm your information. And the whole time this process is going on, you type your address in the very beginning, and you get different addresses. Like it shows it's shipping just to China, like it's leaving China, shipping to China, and you don't get updated till it's in the States. So you don't really. It's kind of. I was just hoping for the best. I was like, I read a bunch of Reddit posts. I'm like, this is how they do it. They Google Translate as much as they can, and then they have pictures of the icons they tell you to click. So you're like, oh, I hope this is the right one. But I did a decent size order because I ordered like the cross brace and like this front piece right here. I got a couple other things that were like $20 for the whole kit. So really the whole like carbon kit was probably $70. And
Nice.
then the light kits are like for the wiring and the plug and one connector. It's like $12, something like that. So I ordered 5 of those and then a bunch of extra connectors, and those are all gone already. I sold basically all those that I sold paid for my shipping. But
Nice.
I need to look into, because I have a bunch of people who were like, I don't know about those connectors, and then now they want them. So I need to figure out that broker website, like how to actually use it, and then go from there. But the first time my stuff got shipped to the warehouse, they didn't accept my card the second time. The same card, they didn't accept it the first time, but the second time they blocked it. And so I couldn't finish my order. And I was basically like, what? So I had to try every single day, like switching cards back and forth, like between my credit and my debit. And I kept getting a bunch of like $0 charges on my stuff. And my bank kept calling me and all this stuff. I'm like, I'm just trying to make this order from China, man. It's like, no one's stealing my stuff.
You're the epitome of a scam.
Dude, I mean, I did get scammed on some stuff not too long ago. But yeah, I ended up just accepting it one of the times, because apparently on desktop it doesn't accept it anymore, but on your phone it does. So I literally blindly clicked like, I hope this is right. I can't read any of this. I can't translate it. And it went through. So, but there was another order I made from Chris or Scale RC, or I'd have to look, but someone has a fake website of all of his stuff, and it has all of his stuff labeled. And I ordered my RevD spring kit from it.
Oh, geez.
And then like a month later, I got a fake Cartier ring in the mail from China. So, and Judd was like, I need that spring kit. I'm like, yeah, man, I don't know if it's actually going to be a spring kit still. And then sure enough, I open this. I'm like, what is this? I'm like, got scammed.
Damn.
I don't know if it'll be a spring kit, but we got something.
$10.
You got
I should have
something.
known a $10 RevD on sale spring kit. Should have known better, but
Right.
Try, you know.
At least it's only $10.
Yeah, who cares?
So after last night, you have a new adventure that you're working on.
Which one?
Well, I mean, that
one. Okay. This little bad guy. So this is where my YD2Z is sitting. I took the girlfriend's car to get an oil change earlier, so I slapped this together in the waiting room. But
So he did this in the lobby.
Wait, could you imagine? Yeah, in the lobby, in the waiting room of an oil change place. That's hilarious.
It was at the Toyota dealership, so there's like 50 people in there, and everyone's staring at me. I look like I'm putting together like an explosive device. I'm like, like in my lap with my head down, like screwed away. This one kid came up. This teenager, he's probably gonna come by because he was asking me what I was doing, and I showed him the page and the videos, and he was like, "That's sick." He's like, "I didn't even know that was a thing." I'm like, "Yeah, man, it's fun." I was like, "You can get into it for a decent amount of money or relatively cheap. Usually start on the cheap side or buy used." But yeah, so right here I got the Midnight Mini. My YD2Z parts this is where they are now. So
Cool.
I need to get some stuff printed, but
Yep. So Judd has the file. I think Grant still has a few things. I do have a battery holder for you.
okay.
I forgot all about that extra stuff last night.
Yeah,
I was just excited that we're all like getting into the mini things.
dude, I drove both of your guys's felt so good. I was like, it's time.
Wait,
Mhm.
wait. So I know you drove the retarded one. Did you actually drive like the actual Midnight Mini from me?
No, I drove
The
your.
ND.
No, I didn't get to.
Okay.
I drove yours, John, and
Mhm.
then Judd's is at midnight also, right?
They're
Yep.
all midnights
They're all
except
midnight, okay.
Mhm.
except 2 of them.
Yeah, I drove your mini before, Adam. I definitely have.
Oh, it's so different right now. It's even more different today than yesterday.
Really? Jesus Christ.
See, I'm telling you, Adam is like the go-to researchers. Like,
Yeah.
if you need to know about something, Adam would know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
my wallet. But speaking of Midnight Mini, we only have 11 left. I don't think we're doing another cut of them. So if you want one, contact, well, me or John. The actual contact would be Jake in the Midnight Suns
Midnight
page.
Suns. Yep.
$80, not shipped. So that's the thing.
And in that price at $80, you get a top deck and a bottom deck. If you hit us, or if you happen to be local, or just tell us, we can accommodate some of those 3D printed parts if you needed. New bumpers will be out soon, I hope, and same with chassis braces. So
yep, new chassis braces are coming out. We've got one that goes from the Shark DDS S to the YD2Z
I have that
platform.
one. Let me show you the prototype.
Let's see it.
It's blue.
Bring it out. It looks good.
Excuse the wiring job, because this was put together at the track, literally just so I can run it last night.
No excuses. Austin put his together in the lobby.
In my lap.
Yeah, but Austin's driving. Mine drove last night.
Yeah,
So
okay.
there's the chassis brace. This is the Shark front end. And then this is the Z transmission. I don't know if you can see that in there. So but yeah.
One of the reasons why Lance decided to go to the vertical bars is because we can do a little bit more variable chassis stiffening with it. So if you just put standoffs in between those two vertical bars, you can alter the stiffness pretty easily.
Yeah.
And also you can mount on the vertical chassis braces, you can mount it's got a spot, so you can mount like an actual like ESC tray or electronics tray, like they did with the actual Shark. If you're crafty enough, you can actually take this guy and somehow put it on there and make it work.
Sweet.
So, the options are pretty limitless.
Yeah. And in the meantime, we're actually also waiting on Lance's new chassis. It's basically, the idea of it is kind of like a Megalodon deck from Razer. So high flex. He had his prototype chassis made out of plexiglass the other day. Yeah, acrylic. Sorry, it was acrylic. Yeah, super flexy.
Yeah.
But yeah. A question from chat: has anyone done a fantasy front end? If this is for a mini, like related to the mini, the answer is no. Mainly because since the fantasy front end has proprietary parts to make it work, short answer is no. No one's tried it. I don't think it will work because we wouldn't be able to get the arm short enough without doing a lot of like hacking to that front end that I wouldn't want to do, like physically chopping.
Chop.
Yeah. And yeah, that front end is already like kind of unicornish to begin with, so I wouldn't want to tear into that at all. Yeah. So would it fit? Yes, it would fit because the Midnight Mini, it has a YD2 front end. So it is that. It's just getting it narrow. Actually, the whole entire game about the Midnight Mini is getting it narrow enough. So usually what we say is pick your body, then plan the build around the body.
Yeah, unless you're like me, you take it apart like 400 times and then decide you want to change the body after you get it fixed and mounted. So,
and we've done enough now that we can, if you just tell us what your idea or plan is, we can give you just a parts list. So yeah, we've done enough.
It's on the Midnight Suns group, or there's a Discord for it as well that Jake manages. Yep. Before we move on from chassis talk, Austin, do you have a setup sheet that you can share with us on the RDX?
Ooh,
Like,
as far as like,
camber, caster, things like that.
well, here's the thing: is everything suspension wise is stock. Beside, I don't even have I haven't even measured my weight bias.
Let
Honestly.
me let me
I don't
ask
even weigh this
Truly, kind of point you into a direction, more specifically the tuning of your Revox, because
Ooh,
that I
okay.
think that's gonna be more critical here.
Yeah, so I went with Jake's setup. So I'm running Profile 2, stock tuning, because you can tune these, I believe, right?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
because of the push button, it's one push down a profile, two pushes up goes up
Yeah.
in a profile.
Yeah, so I'm on Profile 2, and then I'm running positive 57 gain, I found is my sweet spot. And just the amount of difference, like when I first put this together, Profile 1 felt like my Z, where it wanted to hang up and angle and not transition. And as soon as I swapped it to Profile 2, it like you flick it to the right, it goes to the right. Like you can manji like this, no problem. And it felt like how like when we were messing around with Charlie's car, like how he can tune his Acuvance for like grip and like just small like changes like make such a big difference.
Yep.
Just switching that is what it felt like to me, which was crazy compared to the V4. Like don't get me wrong, like the V4 feels really good, but like this gyro was a game changer for me. It completely improved my driving.
Have you tried out all the other profiles?
Not yet. I want to, because
See,
now that
they have 5, right?
six, there's six.
six, yeah. But now that I know like this is exactly how I want it, that's like just about the only other thing I can mess around with. I want to start going through it like on a night where I actually have a little more time, or a Sunday. But yeah, I definitely want to try them all out just to see what all the differences are.
If you like 2, you may like 3, but you won't like 4, 5, or 6. Almost guaranteed, because what it does is that it puts more priority over on the gyro instead of you.
Got you. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I like having a decent amount of input.
Mm-hmm.
And just kind of that.
I was all the way down at 1, and it still wasn't cutting it for me. So, and I didn't want to do chassis changes to get it to work for me. So that's kind of where I laid off the Revox.
Yeah.
And I tried playing with all the servo settings, like put it into Revox mode, and then like messing with all those settings there, and just couldn't get it. So
yeah. One thing I did notice with this chassis is the first time I put my RDX together, I had my lower arms flipped, or the toe block was flipped.
Oh,
and,
yeah, the arm holders.
So my caster was rolled super far forward, and I like couldn't figure out. Like Jeb was like, "This thing feels really good. Why does it feel so different?" And then we looked and realized I had it messed up, and so I flipped it back, and I was like, "Yeah, it's kind of like still hanging up on angle and understeering." And so I just moved my spacer and shimmed my caster forward. Like I'm running my spacers on the front, and I kind of was able to get that like not so much twitchy, but really responsive feel in the front. Even though I think it's mainly the big part is like the flex in this chassis, because like as my toe is now, the lead tire doesn't look like it has that much contact, but when it's actually leaning in, it's making almost full contact. So
I would almost wager to, well, I want to see like actually for you to measure like how much caster you have, because already the RDX has like 2 or 3 degrees of caster, which is already like really minimal.
Yeah.
So if you move the lower arm forward or back,
so you have
less caster,
which I think is, it's kind of doing a cool little
forward. No, it's forward. Sorry. Yeah, because it always messes me up. The spacer's on the front, so it's pushing the arm like this. When on the back, it's spacing it that way. Yeah. So I have more caster. It's yeah.
Okay. So there you go then. But it's interesting though, because like for my RMX chassis, originally I had an aluminum deck for it, and even coming from the carbon deck, and this is the OG VIP carbon. RMX, and that chassis was always so active that it needed something to dumb it down, right? So the Razor Performance deck, it was a flex chassis and like not like pretty darn flexy, and that tamed it down to where like it just wants to grip and go. And I think that's kind of what happened for you too. Like,
yeah, that happened with my Z pretty bad. The way we lined it up, it was super fast, but like you come in shallow, like, and usually you can hold like a decently shallow angle, and it just wants to roll and just correct itself straight. But I mean, it was probably one of the fastest cars out there when it was tuned like that. But it just wasn't feasible for tandeming because you get too low on the throttle and it straightens out, or like it was just all over the place. You get on it and it literally just sucks up to the car in front of you. So you're like on and off when realistically you just want to be at like 20% hanging out right there, you know, unless you need a little more power. But yeah, it was almost a little too much. I know, John, you drove it a bunch. It was fun when it was tuned like that. I liked it, but it was that's why I originally got the RDX. I was like, you know, I need like this car would be good for like comp, like fast comp. I was like, I need something more laid back. And then I didn't build it so laid back, but it feels better all around. It has like it has a part of every aspect I like about everybody's chassis. Like it's more responsive, but it's grippy. It's still fast, but it doesn't like to straighten out. You know, it kind of hits like every checkbox of like what I like about everyone's different chassis.
Now, for your tune, was there a tune that you followed from Cali, or is it just basically box stock tune minus the chassis?
It was basically box stock tune, and then on the YD2.
No, on the RDX, yeah.
On the RDX, it's box stock tune besides my caster spacing in the front.
Okay,
and, and now the knuckles, yeah.
What's weird is your chassis and James's chassis and Sean's YD2 that he's playing with. You guys all have the same feel that it likes to be driven on angle, and you can be smooth about it. They just have a little like that, like, you know how when you're deep in angle when drifting real cars and you're trying to transition and it flicks you hard and it makes you spin out?
Yeah.
Kind of like that. Like if you don't catch that like transition flick from like a deep angle, it makes you spin out. That's my only problem with your guys' chassis. Other than that, I love how it just when you're tandeming, it just gets in that pocket.
Yeah. One thing I noticed last night, I don't know if it was a track surface or just because I was driving a little different, but usually I would throw the car in a little too deep, and just being so rear weight heavy, it'd want to like kind of pull out, like too much angle, and it'd want to pull out and you'd have to catch it. Yesterday, it was hooking up so well. I don't know what it was. I don't know what's going on. It wasn't the knuckle. It could be the knuckles. Like I think because the dimensions on these are different. And so my Ackerman I have more even like Ackerman than I did before. And it doesn't scrub speed, but instead of like locking up and wanting to back up, it actually allows it to get that deeper angle and hook and keep it going. When before you kind of get that like your tail washes a little bit, or like you throw in like a reverse entry and it kind of wants to like and then catch. And it was just taking everything I could throw at it yesterday.
That's good. It drove well yesterday when you drove my Mini, I was driving your car a little bit, or before that. It drove pretty good. Like I said, I love how it just tries to get into that pocket every single time. But it's not as, I don't know, maybe I'm just used to my chassis, because I'm trying to chase that same tune that you guys, or that same feel that you guys have, without changing too much, and it's not really working out.
Yeah. I mean, it is a pain, but because I'm running the, was it 50 weight for these and stock springs? It's still the same. I haven't changed anything.
50 CST, you guys, not 50 weight.
Yeah,
Yeah,
50 CST, my bad.
We're not running short course oil here.
Yeah, but
I mean, we can.
yeah,
I don't know how well it will be.
it's definitely not for everyone. That's for sure. A lot of people
Mhm.
drive it and they're like, mm-mm.
So few things. Judd says that you have 4 degrees of caster, and then stock is 6.
Okay.
So,
There we go.
and then Ron is asking, what does more or less caster affect? So again, going back to So Dialed, they're actually really, really cool in their glossary. So more caster, so more leaned over, like for your tires, right? Equals more on power steering, more stability, better handling in bumps. Less caster, which is pretty much what you're experiencing, is faster and tighter steering, but worse handling in bumps, which we don't care about the bumps because we're drift cars. But yeah, that, I mean, yeah, that makes perfect sense. There is a little bit of a caveat for running less caster though, because of how much faster the steering goes. Like a millimeter and like 1 millimeter, 2 millimeters is like gigantic changes for that caster adjustment, you guys. So like if you see like especially for building your mini, right? So if you see your mini has like a terrible gyro wobble, like just shaking just because that's where you're at, you can add a little bit of caster and that'll actually help tame it down, tone that gyro judder out. So one way you can deal with that, I tend to run less caster, because I like that feeling.
Yeah.
Okay, let's keep on going.
Well, that's pretty much it for that side of things. And we're on to calendar events.
Okay, were you at Tandem Tuesday, Austin?
The last one, no. I was out of town.
Okay, well I don't know who won.
Was.
Oh, then who won?
Well, it was Logan, and then I think Charlie got second. There was supposed to be a battle for third, or someone got third. I don't remember who. And then we got Kenny is moving up. It's Tuesday. Mine's kind of blurry right now, but yeah, I was there. It was a fun like little comp, right? There's a couple new guys out there that was on the rookie tandems, so I think it's helping it grow a little bit, right? Like, because then you're getting people into it, and like their nervousness of like being in a tandem is kind of like you're getting used to it, so it's kind of like, oh, I did this last week, you know. So if there was a comp, it's like, okay, we know what to do.
Well, I think it's also getting the racer guys like more interested, mainly because like they're actually seeing the competitive side instead of just running laps. Like that's the driving aspect of their RC will, you know. And it's true, like competition really feeds like people to become better and just advance. It's just at the same time along comes the amount of drama, but Tandem Tuesday is pretty chill.
I just looked. Ryan, one of the newer guys that we were talking about earlier, he got first in intermediate or rookie. I don't know if you guys split that up last time. I know the last one I did, we had 3 classes. Did you guys only have 2?
This time it was 2. And I was only there. Like basically, they were already running the Tandem Tuesday, and they started the pro. They call it the pro class. They just wanted another person, so I just did a run real quick. That way they had 4 people instead of 3. That way Logan didn't get a buy run.
That guy.
But yeah, it's pretty cool, right? Like I think it's going somewhere for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Josh French in chat, do most of the folks at PDX or your local track run RDXs, no sharks or other setups? So I'd say let's go to our last competition for this. Pretty much we had an equal showing of RDXs and sharks. Oh wait, let me pull it up. We can look that kind of stuff up.
We have the technology.
We do.
Right.
Let's see. We had four
Oh.
sharks. We had I'm sorry. So four sharks, four YD2s, two RDXs. As far as the overall question goes, a lot of people have RDXs, and a lot of people have YD2s. Few RMXs in there. What else is at the track?
Well, you have your there's a GOM.
Yeah, there's one GOM. We
There's
had
there
Cameron
was
with
a
his GOM.
VR. Yeah. And then there was a RDS and like the MSD stuff.
D5s.
Yeah.
Yep,
Like
D5s.
Ben's the D5 guy, man.
Pretty much PDX is pretty diverse as of right now, just because there's only, let's see, one, two, I think 6 people that actually has an RDX now. A couple of those guys switched from the Shark.
I think
Or-
if you count like converted like YD2s to Shark or just converted YD2s on minis, I think YD2s probably there's the most parts or chassis out there.
Yeah.
I'd say RDX is second, honestly. I mean,
think
there's
probably Shark guy. Well, I would say Shark guys because we had a bunch of Shark guys that bought the final form. I think Austin C is running.
Yep.
Still running a Shark final form
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yep. I know Damien just switched to RDX.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like every person just kind of has one in their pocket and they're like, I'm done tuning on this. Like, just drive this, you know?
So,
like,
so RDX is like buyer's remorse for whatever they had before.
pretty much.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Or should I say tuner's remorse?
Oh, yeah. There's a Rhino Max.
Mhm.
Every now and then, Harvey would bring his out. I think Lance had his out there last night, but
Nope.
I'm not sure if he drove it. or
Lance
did he
doesn't
not
have
bring
one
it?
anymore.
Oh,
So
Okay.
okay, hilarious thing though, because Harvey did some his rear motor as well as high CG battery mount, and his Rhino Max, we had to get a consensus and get him permission from everybody to actually compete. His Rhino Max weighed in at 1,143 grams over the rear and a total of 1,806 grams. Yeah, so he still competed.
Yeah.
We wanted that.
That thing is sweet.
right.
Mm,
I just like I want to be able to run that chassis. Like I wish I could have one. I want to be able to run it with no front clip, like a typical your missile that doesn't have a front clip, so it shows off that front end.
Yeah.
I think that would be sick.
That's the biggest thing is super scale. Like his full 3D printed 2J, like single turbo header, like the works for the Rhino Max, and he does multiple motor setups and they look
Mhm.
so good.
Yep.
So good.
That's the only reason why I want one.
I know. I mean, like most of the time, I like on the pages, I don't even see a whole lot of people driving them. It looks like most people display chassis. Yeah.
Right. Oh,
There's nothing
so,
wrong with, but it's
on the note of the Rhino Max V2, I think I'm gonna trade or sell the REAR for a Rhino Max. So if you guys want to trade, let me know.
that's a loss.
On whose end?
Your end.
Don't care.
Okay.
It's one of those, right? Like, because when you're trading something, it's either you're trading it so you can get something that you want, right? Or vice versa. They're trading because they want what you have. So I think it's only a loss if. Thanks, Lance. Lance is like, don't do it. So, it's one of those, or like if someone has one and they're like, hey, you play with it for a month or so, and I'll do the like thing. I'm down for that.
If you can get the green one, the green Rhino Max, then Lance will actually care.
Yeah.
He'll probably buy it off of you actually. Okay. So the thing about Rhino Max though is that Lance had the right one. Outside of the whole geometry issues with that version, in the V2, they fixed all of it. Like they went to the straight axle, straight gear setup, and rear motor, and then all that fun stuff. Fixed the front end geometry. So like that's why I think Harvey's drives so well. But at the same time, it's like the black and red one was the best one that that I like.
I think it's also the tuning and driving style that we all have now. It's either we all drive similarly or we've gotten so good at driving that we can drive everyone else's chassis and actually make it around the track.
Yeah.
I mean, oh, what? I
Chat.
can't read that fast. Dude, I need glasses. Those letters are so small. But I don't know. It's I like driving other people's chassis now. Like when they ask, "Hey, drive my car," and I'm like, "Okay, this one drives different." It's like that full on experience because sometimes driving the same car can get boring, and you're like, "Okay, I can do that. I can do that. I can do that," and then you're like, "Yeah, let me try this chassis.
Yeah.
Oh, that's different."
Yeah. Whoa.
Mhm.
I mean, that's something you want though, right? Like you always want to progress. So it's like you drive something and it's like you see someone else drive the car really well and you're like, dang, that thing drives good. And then you hop on it and you're like, can't drive it.
Yep.
And you're like, what's going on? And 5 laps in, you're starting to like put the car where you want. And it's just like you always want that learning curve, right? You don't want to settle when it comes to this stuff because otherwise it's where a lot of people fall off, I feel like. And
Yep.
it's just steadily progressing and learning is you just got to stay in that sweet spot.
So the funny thing is that I drove other Austin's. Actually, he just chatted. Jake loved my Final Form Shark. Yeah, I drove his Shark and like I didn't care for it. Sorry, Austin. Like it's fast. It's good for him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's like that with everybody though, because remember, like Neil's, Jake's,
Yeah, everyone has their
That's
particular
insane.
style.
yeah, it's like okay, you can tandem with me and you do well, but I hate driving your car, or like it's not my favorite. Like I said, there's a handful of guys that have their chassis like Austin M's. Somehow it's one of those. It's like I've been looking for that feel, or I've been trying to follow that feel or chasing it, and there's only James from Team D Style, Austin from So Icy Boys.
Marcus is gonna beat me up.
And then we have Sean's. Sean's is like you have to be on your toes to drive it, but you have to be like mellow driving it, but on your toes type thing. Because it's if you hold that drift too long, you'll end up on a tire wall like I did. Well, at PDX there's no tire wall; it's a wall.
Yeah,
or a fence.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So
I really liked how Judd's drove before. We still can't figure out. I don't know if it was in our heads or what, but that thing, I loved driving his Shark. And then he came and he was like, dude, I don't know what's going on with this thing. And he hadn't changed anything. Like we drove Friday and then that Sunday, we're taking it out.
Tires.
Yeah, it wasn't even tires. Like he tried changing tires, but like it had that feel where you'd get an angle and it was just scrubbing speed like due to Ackerman. But his he didn't touch anything, didn't slam, drop it, nothing. And we're just like, it felt like someone went in and changed it almost. Like it was weird.
Judson, or Judd, he's on chat. I think it's the self-adjusting parts.
Okay.
Like screws either backed out a little bit or arms like pushed in a little bit.
Maybe.
It's because remember you guys were telling me, or Jake's nerd shocks, something about when you're running and it's vibrating, like it was self-adjusting. It could be something like that. Maybe checked all the things, like as far as like measurements and whatnot.
I have a suggestion.
What's up?
Stop calling it a Shark and stop throwing it in the trash.
Shark?
Yeah, he calls it a Shark, dude. Like,
yeah, that's why he's what is this? I forgot what is. I'm changed his name to something in my phone.
I've seen 2 pictures of his Shark in the trash
Yeah,
as well.
yeah, there's one at the track and one at his house. I love you, Judd.
He's got active toe, so it drives better now.
Which is also one of the topics.
Oh, question for the chat guys. Have you guys seen in the US the RMXM?
You mean that's the Mini, right?
Yep. Have you guys seen it?
in
Like
person.
in person, or do you know anybody that's got one?
I think it's
Let us
only
know.
it's probably only in like the European countries because they always get the cool stuff first.
Yeah. So we want a couple of those over at PDX, or at least the PDX guys. I know Austin wants one. I am. So I want one too, just for to have. Mainly the bodies. The Porsche body, I'd like
Yeah.
one. The Miata body, if you have one you want to sell me, that's clear. Let me know.
Yeah.
So
I need a body, boys.
yep, for that. We're gonna do a mini comp, like the midnight mini comp.
Dude. Sounds
Should be
amazing.
sick.
Or RMX M comp
Yeah.
Get 'em.
with RMX M or including RMXMs.
Yeah.
If it ever makes it to the States.
I'm sure it will.
Sure. So
Before it
if
gets
anything,
sold
I feel
out.
like GGT will get them. Find a way.
No,
No,
GGT
not-
won't.
Yeah, not GGT.
won't. Yeah, because they're mainly Yokomo Rev D.
It'd be Super G and A main
Mm.
Yep.
and Tandem.
Tandem. Yeah, Tandem might.
Oh, they're down in
and-
Arizona, yeah.
Hey, Judd said he's got a body that you can have. Hey, Judd, do I still have that Datsun at your house that I can have from Damien? I still need one.
From Amy.
I need to go over and claim that before someone else does. So,
Also, if there's any bodies or accessories or aero or rare stuff that you guys are looking for that's discontinued, message me on Facebook and I have a running list with two homies, and one of them has connections in Osaka, and that's where I get a lot of my stuff from. And if you guys are looking for anything, just shoot it to me. I'll put it on my list. If he finds it, then we can just do PayPal, and I'll have him ship it to me, and I can deliver it to you.
Just
yeah.
just order like a whole bunch of overdose stuff and then charge like US fees for it.
Should honestly, like, basically his guy goes on foot, and there's a lot of small hobby stores that don't even have online shops there, and that's where he gets a lot of like these ABC bodies and like Maruma parts. Like, I just ordered a Maruma Type X discontinued bumper for one of my friends. He's got Maruma fenders, skirts, all that stuff, which they don't make no more.
Here, put this on your list. Speedway Pal
Oh,
FC body. You
dude.
need like as many as you can get. Well, that we can
Okay.
afford.
Well, someone that's in that chat, I don't know.
Is that just no? The Yokomo one's the Samurai. Who does the who
The
does that one?
Speedway Pal one is what Nick is running.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
He just
scored 2 of them, but still, like,
yeah. I didn't want to
get
spoil it,
more.
but yeah, he just scored 2. I can get more. Yeah, 100%.
Oh, that's from you.
That's through So basically, I added him in a group chat with my homie.
Oh,
And,
nice.
Yeah. So
for you mini guys that's building it and you want a wide body Miata, tell Austin now.
yeah.
He might be able to hook this up.
I do need another one.
Another wide body Miata.
R31.
R31 Alex. Yeah, I sent you the link.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's lame because it'll never be the same.
Yeah. We have the original.
Yeah. It's hilarious. Someone complained that like the 5mm the original R31 wide body Miata was 185 wide. Millimeters wide. Then someone was like, it's too cartoony, so they lessened it down to 180.
Dude, that's a big difference.
It's fine. It's fine. It's lame, but it's fine.
Yeah.
But you should see how my original Miata, Adam took a pic. Did I take that picture? I think Adam took that picture. Either one. It was at the Hobby Expo in Seattle or Bro, and it looks so good. It's super drifty. Like, it's got that folk style.
Just aggressive.
Judd, I'm supporting my local people. Why don't you do that?
Yeah, it's getting called out.
No.
So calendar events. Do we have any events coming up?
Not particularly. Tentatively. So if y'all haven't heard, Northwest Hobbies is closing in October 22nd is their final day, supposedly, right? Because everything is tentative. There is hearsay. There's rumors right now. We don't know 100% of the way, but we're gonna do like some sort of big drift, like kickoff. October 1st was kind of the day that was tossed around. That way the Seattle guys can come down and play without being too burnt out from going down south. I don't know if it'd be on their way going down south either, because Super G is 6th, 7th, and 8th. Could you imagine just going down there for like a week? A week early?
I'm fingers crossed I could get the day off.
Are you going, Austin?
I should be.
You should be.
I should be.
It would be cool if there's a lot of like Oregon or Washington people, like the Northwest, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, media people. We need more media people.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Right.
That's what I'm.
So that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping to qualify, but if I don't qualify, I'll be media.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm always down to media too. It's nice because you guys both have your styles too, and like with my film camera, like it's not like all of our stuff is different. That's what I really like. It's not like just all one thing, which is good.
So let's do this then. I'll bring both of my cameras. John can man one, I'll man mine. Austin can do his, and then we'll have like a photography off.
Dude,
Damn.
I'm down. Yeah.
Can I just put it on auto settings so I just click the whole time?
I mean, okay, so here's the thing though. Photographers are a dime a dozen, right? Because you can usually turn something out pretty good, even if it's just like on a whim.
Yeah.
It's all post-processing.
Yep.
Post-processing and something about the eye of the beholder.
Yeah.
Yep. That matters a lot. Okay, but
style is everything.
Other than that, like, we don't have any other calendar events except for our finals, which is the 14th. Hold on. I should know this. Round 5.
I have a calendar event, but I don't have the full details.
I got it. Round 5, September 17th is our series final. Be there. We'll have some goodie bags for you.
Don't we have a car show coming up
in September? Yeah. Yes. The answer is yes, we do.
It's locked. That's locked in? Yeah. Or at least we have the space.
Is it slammed enough?
Yes.
Just slammed enough. When is that?
I'm gonna put my car on a show so I can park inside.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if we
you are not slammed enough.
We can make it.
We can arrange that.
We can make it.
Yep. Between Austin, Marcus, and Nick, we can make that happen.
Yeah, you might not be able to drive it home after, but we'll get it in there.
Right?
It's like, not only are you gonna take the spring retainer out, you have to take the spring retainer out, and then you'll still not be low enough.
We're just gonna put it on blocks.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right. Yeah, comp series will be announced at PDX also sometime soon. There is a couple, like Hobbytown's gonna have another swap meet sale deal going on in September and in October.
Northwest has one more before they close too, I believe.
Yep, I want to say like 20 or 22nd.
The swap meet,
one of those. Yeah,
or like a super sale.
Yep. They just posted that flyer a couple days ago or yesterday.
What?
Oh, local guys, if you're looking for RDX, there is one Hobbytown left, I believe.
Speaking of RDXs, I might have hands on one.
And they have Reeboks too. Reeboks, Yokomo servos, V4s.
I'm about to put my YD2Z carbon plate and my V4 in the case. Or if someone wants to grab my V4 off me before I put it in there, I'll sell it to them for cheap. Like $40.
Random thought.
That's a deal.
That's a steal. It's a brand spanking new.
I asked anybody if they needed like YD2 carbon.
Mm-hmm.
No one answered, so I made this.
Oh my- I thought
Is that your paperweight?
Yeah, it is a paperweight.
Hey, that's kind of it'd be a cool garage piece for Speed Style Garage when it comes back this winter.
I was gonna
This
say you
winter-
could just put your pieces of bread in there and make it a bread holder.
right. It'll be my taco holder.
Yeah, they'd be perfect.
Right. Okay. Yeah, so we do have a show coming up. Jake's gonna be being the coordinator behind that. We don't know exact details yet, but it is the Slammed Enough show in Portland. Same place, pretty much same time. I think.
Expo
yeah.
Center.
Expo Center. Yep. Should be a good time. Hopefully Judd can actually bring some stuff there and like actually work it. Because like always having product there to sell has like it does good.
That's huge.
Mhm. For sure.
What was I gonna say? I need to get a pit bag before then is what I need to do. Because my Camry is not going in there. And I'm not carrying 5 different things in there.
Let's see.
Super G has the Yokomo ones in stock, $179. I just need to order it. I don't know what I'm doing. I can order it. I don't know. I'm just being an idiot.
Is it on A main?
A-Main might have them. I know Super G has low stock. I think it said they have 2 left when I checked this morning.
Also check with GGT if you're serious about buying one. He doesn't like shipping them, but if you're like, I'll pay for shipping, he'll send it.
Yeah.
He was up. He was priced $20 higher
Yes.
than Super G.
Mhm.
Yeah, no matter what, like either way you're gonna get screwed on shipping. Like
Yeah, no matter what. Yeah,
mine
it's
was
just-
like $210 shipped.
Oh, Judd said he'll check if he can get one.
Please.
Yeah,
Judd,
that'd
if
be
you can
slick.
get a Rev D bag, one of the lower ones that they have, like the Yokomo,
Yeah.
that would be cool.
No,
Yeah.
no. If you can get the Futaba, the Futaba long bag, so
Yes.
two boxes
That's
with the radio on. That one I need.
That's a ticket. Yeah, let us know.
Although that one still doesn't fit in a plain carry on either. So
That's
But
see,
it's
that's
still a
why
nice
I asked
bag.
the question: who will haul my bag? That way I could just fly in.
you realize that that's just asking for tampering, right?
Yeah.
Right.
We're gonna touch the crap out of your car if whoever is taking it.
It's okay. It's a RDX. You can't change a whole lot.
We'll rebuild your shocks, man. we'll
flip your toe
Yeah,
box.
like-
We'll put 50
300
weight oil in your
TSP.
shocks.
Hey, you might drive better and faster.
Yeah, but then it's gonna be like, well,
Super
so
fast.
it's not right, and then it has 50 weight oil, so now you gotta like wash all that crap out and
Yep.
then rebuild.
Right.
Lance says fill the shocks with sand.
Dude, you guys are horrible people.
Take your own crap, man.
Yeah.
Hey, if I have to fly in, I have to fly in. Actually, I have a backpack.
Throw some Aunt Jemimas in there.
Silly
All right,
pup.
Adam, do you have anything else you want to cover?
Okay. So there is that. Let's go to Discord really quick. So a few
Ooh,
things in
Are we
Discord.
gonna roast people?
Kind of, not really.
I don't even know if I'm in you guys' Discord.
Oh, do I need
I'm-
to post the link?
I might
Probably.
be. Which one are you going into?
Mine.
Yeah.
The NWRC Drift Talk.
Yep, not in there.
Okay, so let's switch the picture.
It's there. Adam posted it on the chat.
Yep.
Wait, something on the chat appeared.
What?
Super G has one left, according to Judd.
See, it's always those things, right? Because it's like one left, two left. Although, like dealing with Super G is kind of sketch. Like
That means
with
one
that.
they don't have anymore.
Yeah, because they might have already sold it. I mean,
One left overseas.
technically, they were supposed to fix it, but lately their stuff has been really weird. So yeah, let's check out Discord. So Mitch actually got this in today. It's pretty like kind of like an Azada clone.
Are we on the roast my rig?
Yeah, we're on Roast My Rig.
Okay.
And we'll actually go back last week because he posted something as well, maybe in general. Anyway, So he got this wheel for the Noble, right? Because a lot of people are always asking about like aluminum wheel options for the Noble, which you don't know. I think it was last week or the week before that where I literally just shoved one of the like my scale reflex wheel just over the foam, and that kind of worked. But then he said that Dennis showed him this off of Amazon, so you can get this from Amazon. Pretty much an Izada clone. At the same time, knurling, it's flat. So if you do want like a sharp edged wheel, this is not for you, but it does look a lot better than the stock wheel. It's wider than the stock wheel as well. So if you want a little bit more grip, like a bigger grip, then that's the ticket for you. Oh, Austin, don't you have a Noble?
Yeah, I just ordered the we were just talking about this, John.
The Zada. The
Oh,
Zada
man.
wheel.
No, it's the dude. Hold on, because I think Jake just ordered a bunch of stuff from them too.
I just ordered T-Work pistons, like the Revo Shock pistons, like the one.
Our design RC. They make anti-tip plates for it too.
Oh yeah,
yeah. John has one.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, John has
got
one.
the one from my Noble. I just saw someone, RC Mitch. He posted. They have one on Amazon where it has like the caliper and the brake rotor.
Yeah, that's the one we were just talking about.
Yeah, it's like $40, something like that.
I didn't
So
even
I
check.
looked at that, and they didn't have the TE37. So I was like, and I didn't like the wheel like options, like what they look like.
So what we're looking at now is the last picture set in Roast My Rig. This is Austin's, not this Austin, but Austin C's new Mini that he built. He had the original ZX slide rack, and it just wasn't playing nice for him, which you can make it work. There's a few tricks that you can do to make a slide, like your typical Yokomo slide rack work, which is basically getting rid of the tie rods for your toe links. Just use all thread. All thread is magical with minis.
You can do things.
Yeah, it's just a pain in the butt to like actually adjust camber and all that other stuff because you have to take it off and all that. Yeah, he just got the Revdy bell crank here. Notice, and he's actually already done it. He put the servo farther back by flipping the servo mounts, and this is a pretty typical thing that we've been doing, and it works out really well. However, it's kind of like even farther back because he's using the stock servo horn, or the aluminum servo horn for the slide rack. So the cool thing about this, you guys, is that like any bell crank you can tune with the servo horn. So say if your car is being a little bit too twitchy, or you have a gyro twitch, shorten your servo arm, and that'll make it a little bit more docile, a little bit less shaky. If you do want more snap, lengthen it. But yeah, it looks good. It's a solid setup. And it adds a 3-degree kick up, I believe, to basically mimic the Yokomo slide rack almost exactly. And let's see. I'm gonna try to find Mitch's thingy, which I'm not sure. He made his E30, his I think it's his HPI E30 into a convertible with roll cage and all that fun stuff. So pretty cool stuff. But no one else has been posting in Roast My Rig or anything like that lately.
Well, I need to get in there, man. I'll start posting away.
Yeah, man. I don't think anybody actually wants to see any pictures of my chassis anymore. I mean, they do keep on changing, but yeah, it's old news. Okay. So I do want to go over just a few technical topics. I think it was 2 weeks ago, someone had asked about information regarding active toe. And then, so we'll talk about active toe, we'll talk about toe and Ackerman, and what else do I have listed here?
Trace Bector, shark uppers.
Oh, okay. Do you want to do product reviews first, or do you want to do technical topics?
Let's do a quick product review, and then let's do technical topics.
Okay, so product review that I was testing yesterday and today was Acuvance Trace Bector and the shark upper arms. So remember how I was saying about all thread and being annoying to adjust? We'll start off with the shark uppers because it's shorter. So shark uppers are basically a cheap alternative to like the Rev D uppers or like Yokomo uppers. However, with the caveat that they are only the uppers and the screw type uppers. So you'll either need the Rev D block if you're going to put it on a YD2, or you're going to need a Shark DDSS with the included little adapter plate thing. It goes on there like that. So like, even though that they're $45, right? Then you're buying that piece of aluminum, and you're also buying a carbon shock tower, or just a shock tower that doesn't have like the lower mounts for the Yokomo things. So cost benefit isn't really there unless you already have a DDSS, or if you're just trying to replace the Rev D uppers, which Rev D uppers are superior. And the reason why I say this is because the way that it was thought out is the adjustment screw comes from the front, right? So if you have a typical shock tower, your shock is right in the way of that adjustment screw, right? So you have to take off your shock, you have to unscrew it, you have to get it right, then you have to like kind of figure out how to measure your camber and then tighten it up. So yeah, that was a fun little process yesterday. But as far as like price comparison, like it's all kind of equaling out the same. Like if you were to buy the Rev D slide rack kit, like the whole front end kit, it's like $110. Whereas the wrap up ones by themselves, the new ones, are $100, right?
That's why I still don't have one.
It was in my cart the other week when I was like buying from Super G, but yeah, I was like, nah, I don't need them. So yeah, shark uppers, they're great, and they're actually a little bit lower profile than the Rev Ds, so you can actually use all of the different holes in the thingy. Because if you were to use the Rev D ones, you can't actually use the most inside hole, because it's too big. The bearings are too big and the housing is too big. Other than that, they are a ball bearing upper, so they are pretty darn smooth. And then the other part that I was testing was the Trace Bector. Now, I admit that I
explain that to us. What is the Trace Bector?
Right.
I didn't read any of the descriptions or what they are.
But did you see the Vittorio video?
No.
I think Judd posted it. Anyway.
That was me.
Oh, okay.
I'm a fan. Dude,
you're a fan of the Trace Bector, or
just
Vittorio?
him in general, because he tests anything new coming out, and he does a really good job presenting it.
Vittorio is basically the whole inspiration of why my high CG mini is the way that it is.
Yeah. His builds are really cool.
Okay, so back to it. Like, what is a Trace Bector? A Trace Bector is there was originally the Trace, and then they came out with the Trace Bector. The Trace Bector is a pass-through, basically a capacitance unit, or a capacitor in line that's going to or from a piece of hardware on your chassis. So if you look at the actual Acuvance website, they suggest putting it in between your ESC and your receiver. All right. This is also along the lines that you already have like some sort of capacitor on your car to begin with, like their Chevalier or their Turbo or whatever, right? Just something bigger than what's stock. The idea here is always going to be clean power. Clean power going to your hardware is always going to be better at the other end, right? It's kind of like car audio. Like if you throw dirty signals out to your speakers, then it's only a matter of time before you blow your speakers or it just sounds like crap, right? Sounds like gyro judder or
feedback.
Exactly. Which is funny because our whole entire gyros basically operate off of feedback.
Yeah.
Okay, so just capacitance in mind, that's what it really is, but it's a pass through, so one in, one out. And I tried it with 1 and 2 trace vectors, so one between the ESC and one between the receiver, and then one between the receiver and and the gyro. So it's kind of weird because the way that they explain it is that you feel more connected to the ground, which reading it from Accuvance's website is very, very vague and bogus. But then hearing Vittorio's like explanation of it, right? It kind of, well, I mean, that's the whole reason why I bought it, right? So it's like, oh, okay, so better throttle modulation and feeling more connected to the car. What I found, though, is it's a little bit interesting, and it's probably just the way that I interpret it versus what it is. So we'll start off with the base run of 2 trace vectors inline, right? What I found is that it feels like the car is just overall smoother, right? But for me, like smoother in a lazy way, you know? So you know how we put like a negative curve on throttle profiles to help like kind of ease that? That's kind of how it felt, right? But without doing anything. So I singled it out. I did it from one trace vector between the ESC and the receiver, and same idea. It smoothed it out. It felt kind of lazy to me, so I could have probably adjusted for like a little bit more turbo or whatever, right? But ultimately, like no trace vector for me felt more aggressive. Felt more like faster reaction of a car, which is weird, like backwards as anyway. And then if you flip it, if you put it in line with between the receiver and the gyro, then you're getting cleaner power to your gyro and servo, right? So there it kind of cleaned up this the signal enough it did clean up a little bit of gyro wobble. Like if you watch my cars, like prior to this, when I got into boost, there might be a little bit of wobble, like just because of the car being upset. But it did clean it up. It did smooth it out. I didn't feel like more like being connected to the ground or like just having a better front end, but it did make things more consistent, hence better throttle modulation. So there, I do think that it is worth it. Yes, Vittorio did trace. Yeah, that video is why I bought it.
Yep, that's the link right there for anyone that's curious. He tests the trace and trace vector in both and explains what he feels the difference is. And you can hear it in the car, just the power and just how it sounds, the difference and how smooth the power band is.
Yeah, and it like, so that's what it really translates to, and like smooth it is really what it is, which is funny because like it didn't necessarily like resonate with me, like kind of almost as if it was just like doing the opposite of what I wanted it to.
Yeah, so I feel like go ahead, I forgot what I was going on about.
I mean, so like it is one of those things where it's like, try it, see if you like it. That's for sure. And they're not too bad. They're $45.
Yeah,
well, that's it's like the little spacers on the front of the RDX.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like small variables make a big difference, you know.
And even in the instructions, it says like your placement of the trace vector can vary its performance, which when you look at it and when you're like placing it on your chassis, there's only so many places that you can put it because of the short leads that it has. So does it work? Does it work the way that it says? Yes. Does it work the way that I would like it to feel? Not particularly, but I will keep it in between the receiver and gyro. That's for sure.
Maybe more
Elsewise,
testing in the future.
huh?
Maybe more testing in the future.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, well, okay. So you know how I was basically saying like it doesn't do anything yesterday on P-Tile?
Yeah.
And I think it's just that because like P-Tile, we have so much more grip than on like the concrete at Northwest. I felt a better difference on concrete than P-Tile. That's for sure.
I think we're on active toe, yeah or nay, or is that from last week too?
Active toe is actually from like 2 weeks ago, and we totally missed it because of Roy.
Oh,
Well, not because of Roy, but we never got to it, right? So-
all the nostalgia talk from last time.
Yep. So neither of you have actually run active toe yet, right?
No,
Not intentional.
no, I almost did. It was when I had like too many hands on the pot on my YD2, and I almost got sold it until someone was like, try
Mhm.
mine first. So,
Right.
but I never
wait.
went through with
Was
it.
it my mini?
No, it might have been actually. It might have been.
Because okay,
I think we should just have it. If you want to try something new, Adam already has it. Just try one of his cars.
more like Jake. Jake has just as much crap as I do.
That's true.
That's fair.
Okay, so active toe is kind of like a hit or miss type of thing, right? Because it's cool that you have it because you can say that you have it, and it's cool when you can tune for it as well. Because essentially, it's exactly what it sounds like, right? So active toe is the act of when your chassis is going to be squatting or even lifting on the rear end, right? Your toe in on your rear, or your toe on your rear is going to change in or out. You can tune it either way, right? So technically, the idea behind toe in, right, is to give you more straight line performance, typically, right? So actually, it was funny because we were looking at Charlie's car the other day, and he has like 3 degrees of toe in on his rear end. Like most of us are running like 1.5 at the max, right? Because that's just like stock. Do we know what RDX is?
RDX is like 0.
I know Galm is 0.
I don't think RDX is.
Yeah, because I don't.
The toe block in the rear does make a difference, which way it's facing. Let me.
But it's probably something really minimal, right?
1.5 maybe.
Yeah, like if that, to be honest.
See, this is one of the problems with the RDX. Basically, when I got it, all I did was switch my electronics into it, and it drove well.
Yeah.
So like, I never investigated if it was actually put together correctly.
Hey, put together wrong could be the ticket.
That's
Right,
what
like-
happened with me, man.
Well, like you were talking about the front toe block or the front like arm holder deal.
Mhm.
That was backwards.
Mhm. Yeah.
So like I fixed it, and it still drives good. But like I competed with it, got a comp. It's cool.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I still say electronics matter too, but
Okay, so the way that I wanted to do this is basically like breaking it down just to what toe does, right? So more rear toe, or more pointed in or pigeon-toed, that's whatever you want to call it. More rear grip and side bite, best for low and medium grip tracks. Less rear toe gain is less rear grip and side bite, best for high grip tracks. So what do we want? We want all the grip, right?
yep.
But it's it's a double-edged sword, because there's a point where like if your car lifts a little bit too much, then you can go into positive, right? Which can cause some weird stability issues. So just keep that in mind. When you are tuning for active toe, just make sure that both sides are equal. Start off with that, and start off with like go about it the way that you would tune other things. So try the minimal, like the most little, and then try like the absolute most, right? That way you can actually see what the effect is. I will say though that the entire effect is based off of how much your chassis squats. Because without the squatting effect, like you're not really doing anything with active toe. And even if your chassis squats, it's only going to be squatting like 1 or 2 millimeters, like around there. So just consider that. I was running the the biggest level of active toe today on the Mini, and it ended up feeling really, really good. Was it that much different from just running standard H arms, like solid arms? No. So that's why I say like it's kind of like a hit or miss, right? There's also a lot more than just like the toe gain, because when so let's see, so zero toe, right? Toe in, toe out. So basically it's not just the toe, right? What it can do is that when your chassis is rolling, and why am I having such a hard time with this? But when your chassis is rolling, it's like, yes, you're going to get toe, but you're also going to get like kind of a 4-wheel steering effect when the chassis rolls over, right? So your toe is not necessarily going to be like straight in the middle of your chassis. It's going to be off-centered to one side. Michael Keane was basically doing trying to give me a very, very brief explanation on that, just to make sure that you're considering that when you're trying to tune for your active toe. More so, I don't know a lot about active toe, unfortunately. Yeah.
I'm looking at.
I don't think we've played with it enough. Go ahead.
On Shredcraft's post, it's looking like for camber on the RDX, it's around -5 or 5 rear, and then 9.5 front, and then it's 5 degrees squared toe out, all 4 corners.
Wait,
well,
what?
0.5.
Okay.
When that'd be 0.5. Yeah.
0.5.
I was like,
Yeah.
5.
Like,
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
5 degree, you'd see like the wedge. Like,
Yeah. No, it's 0.5 on all 4. He actually went through and measured everything because so many people are like, what, you know. So,
Right.
Good to know.
It's a need to know basis.
It's like most people are like, why does it matter? It drives good.
Right? I'm that guy. It's like, oh, I think tandem with people, cool. We're good.
And then if you look through Discord in the general chat, Jake and Severon, Severion, sorry, we're having a pretty good discussion about Ackerman. So, John, what is Ackerman? Can you tell me what Ackerman is?
It is your balance of well, I'm blanking out. So it's basically the way
It's your angle symmetry.
it's your angle symmetry of the front tires.
It's that setting in Car X.
Yeah, the setting that you just crank.
Crank all the way up.
Right.
So it's the symmetry of your front tires. Basically the distance, or you get more Ackerman if your lead tire is at full angle and your follow tire is not so parallel. Less Ackerman if they're parallel. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I always get it backwards.
Yeah.
So let's break it down. Lead tire and follow tire, right? So for Ackerman, and I'm not sure if I'm just going to contradict you right now or not. More Ackerman is like when they're pointing out, kind of like toed out, right? Like that's that. So parallel, less Ackerman, more Ackerman, right?
Yep.
Okay. So that way we're talking about it the same way. So the reason why you want your lead tire like pretty much as much angle as you can get is because it's the shortest distance that it has to travel. Usually in real big size cars, the trailing tire is always going to be like more canted out. So because of the arc that it has to travel, so that you don't scrub. You're not just scrubbing that tire around. You know, when you weld your diff, John, and like that rear outside tire just can't, right?
Mhm.
And that's when you get like the parking lot squeals and that kind of life.
Sounds like a broken axle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to get technical, like realistically, the Ackerman measurement is your slip angle. So your slip
Okay.
angle is the difference between. So like, say you have 4 degrees here, 5 degrees here. The difference between that's going to be 1 degree.
Mhm.
And so that's going to be your slip angle. So you're running 1 degree of Ackerman. Technically, is how you measure it. So like a 0 Ackerman setup, like in actual competition drifting, is going to be perfectly symmetrical like this.
Mhm.
And then you're going to have a slip angle change on your lead tire as you angle it out. Is essentially you're measuring the difference in degree between the two. Is how it works.
So from where it's parallel to when you're like adding
Less
that a
parallel.
little bit extra.
Yeah, technically, yeah. So like, if you can, like, the best is like if you can match your lead tire with your rear, that's gonna be, if it's the exact same, that's gonna be 0 Ackerman, and that's like a good basis for like, it's like it'll help you if you can get a lot of angle out of it. You can crab walk without scrubbing speed, but once you start getting that difference, you're fighting your like your lead tire against your rear. Your rear's wanting to pull you like
Out.
further while your lead's trying to carry you over, and it's fighting itself. So
Okay, you're bringing up good answers. Let's. I wanted to ask this earlier, but I didn't get a chance to. Explain the difference or the similarities of how we tune our RC cars versus like say a 240.
yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, it's
Like, what are the similarities? What are the differences?
Uh,
What tune works for the real car that you've seen work on your RC car, or vice versa?
I think some of the big things are going to be suspension, like your shocks. Like then again, it all depends on how you want to drive. Like if you want your RC car like fitted, like right now my car doesn't lift because like I'm not running a crazy Acuvance tune. I'm running all Yokomo stuff, so my car stays low and fitted. So like in the real car world, you're gonna have stiffer suspension. You might be sacrificing a little bit of grip, but like you see the high powered cars, they're running softer suspension, more travel, lean into it, more grip, more speed, more angle, and it's just this, it's however you want your driving style to be. And then like you have like the people who have like fitted cars that take them to the track that are like show car low and like fitment, and they're out there driving it, but it's, they're running it hard suspension, might not get the best angle, maybe a little bit of binding in there. But I think it's pretty close. I mean, like you get everything in an RC car that you can out of a real car, whether it's knuckles, toe, tie rods, however you want to set it up. Like you can do a full like soft suspension, like weight shift build, just like an FD car would be, and drive it just the same way. Like you could throw that thing in towards a wall and get on it and pull yourself out of it, no problem. Where a lower car with stiffer suspension is gonna want to wash or tap the wall a little bit. But I mean everything is pretty close besides like diffs. I mean you can do LSD like in a real car, but yeah, I think it all goes very well hand in hand, and it's just got to suit your driving style or the style of your car. If you like running a low car, or,
Cool. Yeah, because you were explaining because that's how I understood the Ackerman, and
Mhm.
Tuning for it is the more parallel, the more crab walky you can get. If you go negative Ackerman,
yeah,
negative Ackerman, then you're just crab walking
Yep.
all
yeah,
the time.
Yep.
And if parallel, it can crab walk, but it doesn't scrub too much speed. I believe on the RDX, you almost get a negative at full crank.
yeah.
It just depends on how sloppy the front end is. But yeah, it's
With my knuckles, I'm sitting like this.
yeah. See,
And
that's
it's
parallel.
pretty close. Like
Mhm.
it makes a good difference.
Okay.
But like that's like when you order like a 0 Ackerman Wise Fab for a real car, and like the lower control arms are fully shaped, so you're zero Ackerman, but at 90 degrees.
Mhm.
And that's like you can crab walk a car, but you can be cruising completely sideways, but it's a snappier feel and you have way more distance of travel in your steering wheel itself. Like you're getting more angle, your steering wheel is moving more. So it's like there's only a couple things you can do to make it so you're not having to
Mhm.
go the car as much, but there's also a lot more. There's room for error if you're still learning, but like there's a lot more. You put the car more places, having more angle. That's for sure.
Cool. Yeah, I was gonna ask that earlier. I was like,
Yeah.
I think I forgot or I couldn't segue into it properly.
Here, I'll put one of my favorite videos in the chat. It's Stewie Bryant from New Zealand that drives in Japan, and he runs a zero Ackerman setup. And this dude crab walks his R32 missile car like no one else. So if you guys want to see what it looks like in a real car, it'll be in the chat in a second.
Yeah, I think we'll do a real car setup later.
Oh yeah, gotta get Reader in this. He was gonna stop by, but he heard he was already out and about. So
Yeah.
I'll definitely get him in here one of these days.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be good
Well,
to have like him and Marcus too at the same time.
Yeah, because we could
be like
we
real
could talk
talk.
about like yeah. Well, I mean, it's not just drift talk, right? Because Travis started drifting just a little after Austin, and as of last night, like we had a train going between me, Austin, Travis. Yeah, it's pretty
New
crazy.
Zealand represent, yes sir.
As a oh,
Yeah, no, those are some good runs. He learned fast.
wait,
Same thing with
which chat did you send that to? Because I don't see it.
I put it in our YouTube. What chat do you want me to put that in?
Oh,
Wait.
I didn't. Am I
I'm not-
behind? What?
I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, that's what. He's commenting on someone else's YouTube.
No,
Yeah,
I have ours open. I have like 3 different tabs going of our stuff.
I have 4. I have the YouTube on this side. I have us right here in front. Because then, if I'm looking over here, it looks like I'm not paying attention the whole
Yeah.
time.
What chat are you reading off of?
Chat.
Really?
Yeah.
On the YouTube one, AWZY is me.
AWZY. Yeah, I don't see you.
Like you're there, but you didn't like the if you posted a link, you didn't post a link for like even for Vittorio's Trace Bector video.
It didn't pop up?
What's up with that? I don't know, man. It's all the
Man.
winters.
Maybe I'm
Yeah, but
banned.
That's
No,
cool.
it's
though. Not yet.
I
Not
don't
yet.
have moderators.
Yeah, dude. Get me on the mod list. Here,
This is like pretty open.
I can put it in the in-call messages.
Okay, there you go. I see it. I'm gonna have to open that window in a little bit.
And I'll put Vittorio's in there too. But yeah, so the first night I got my first car, which is a 91 240 SX, was the first night I met Travis, Marcus, Austin Slagle, who does the Failure podcast. Like the whole P&W scene I basically met at the lots the first night I got my car. And yeah, it was awesome. And Travis probably had his car a couple months. He got his first 240 off of a grandma, and he welded the diff, threw some coilovers on it, and put a new e-brake wire and went crazy. So I think he was a single cam at that time. But
there's one thing that I wish about the car scene that I did a long time ago. I wish I would have never. I wish I was only in the Honda scene for so long, and then got into 240s.
Yeah,
I feel like I should have had a 240 way back when, like when Marcus and them got it, when Nick was into it.
Yep.
Yeah, I kind of wish I was there because it's like the grassroots of like what we're doing and what we want to do with real cars.
100%. Yeah, the last time I reconnected with Nick, he had the IS, and I did a photo shoot of him and Shane. He had a full like Kuguchi powered S14 with a 2J in it. Thing was sweet. But yeah, if you go back on my YouTube, I got old videos of Travis on there. I have like driver interviews, like before he even drove like Pro-Am. Like he still had an RB20 in his car. Like that's mainly how I got so close knit. Was I was doing media at Park under Northwest Films, and that was like all I was doing in high school, man. I was skipping out on class, editing videos, staying up late, just like fully immersed in it. And I got more into media than drifting for a while. And then Travis was like, dude, just sell your, because I had a Miata. He was like, dude, sell your Miata and get a different car. And I got a Cresta with a 1J in it. Started driving Pat's Acres. I got first place at my first Park Fest event.
Mhm.
And yeah, it was just good times, man.
Yeah,
Good
back when
times.
cars were cheap.
Back when cars were cheap and people were cool. Like,
Mhm. That's 100%. I think back then people were cooler because I remember going to what is it over in Seattle, Golden Gardens for
Yep.
like the
Dude,
Nissan
I
Fest.
have back on my YouTube. I have a OG Golden Gardens video on there. Like that Golden Gardens used to be it was so fun,
It was cool. I had my Yokomo DP back then, and
Okay,
I think I either had a Nissan body, like my wide body Nissan that I
Mhm.
brought out, or the 886 Tofu car. I
Yeah.
had it out there, and then I was driving my EG with B18 motor, the LS Acura LS.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the day back then when I hung out with car people.
Yeah, dude, Hondas were the jams.
Yeah, I stuck with Hondas for too long.
Yeah.
Problem. Yeah. So
I mean, that's a good platform. Like, thing is like my 240, I got that thing, and I was already fixing so much stuff on it. Hondas, you get them, they run good, and you get to do the good mods to them for the most part. You know, like Honda, I feel like is such a good car back then. Like when EGZKs, everything was super easy to get. It's such a good platform to learn on. Like just the basics of working on a car.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it starts you could mess up so bad and that thing would still start the next day. It's
I did
insane.
run mine from Seattle to Portland with no oil.
Dude, yeah, you look at a 240 and the freaking mirror falls off. Is what it is.
So you're saying don't get a 240?
These days, probably not.
Nah,
I mean,
they're all beat up and overpriced, right?
Yeah, I'm looking at importing a 180 or maybe a Mark II JZX 100. That's
Damn.
kind of what I'm eyeballing right now. But
Isn't it like the Drift Kid starter kit, like a 350 or like a
G35.
yeah?
Yeah, it is. Shout out Damien if you're in the chat, dude. The trumpet build. Yeah, even those cars, it was a weird period because when I was drifting, no one drove 350Zs.
Mhm.
And because they were so expensive, and then they
Yeah.
hit this weird spot where they were super cheap, and like all these old people were getting new cars and trading them into dealerships, and you could get them for
Mhm.
such a good price.
Mhm.
And then everyone found out, like, you know, they actually drive really good. They don't sound the greatest, and then inflated the price again. Like I completely missed that little sweet spot that there was for a little bit.
Isn't
I
that
wish
kind
I would've
of
bought one when I get a chance.
what happened with the like C5 Corvette?
Yeah, that too. Yep, there was a good amount of people were buying them to drift, but
Mhm.
they have their own set of problems. Like my buddy has one, and he was telling me, he's like, don't get a crappy Japanese car again. You know, it was cool back then, and he's got a Z06 C5, and now it's got a rear main seal leak, and you got to drop the whole trans and everything. Like you got to basically lift the body off the car to do it.
Mhm.
So
I think the IS300s had that same issue. Is the rear
Yeah.
main seal? People
They
sell
always
them
go.
cheap because they don't want to work on it.
Yep.
So
I mean, it's not that those cars. It's not that hard to do. It sucks, but like most people that buy those cars don't know how to do that type of work. They can throw
Yeah.
coilovers and a body kit on it, but anything else, it's just like that's another thing. IS300 prices right now. It's just like I sold mine for way too much, and I felt bad about it. But it was like I sold mine on the low end of what they were going for.
I did the same thing, low end of what they were going for, and I had mine with the
Yeah.
welded diff. So
It just is what it is, man.
right.
How do we
So-
feel about K series swaps in drift cars?
If I could afford one, I would do it on the
Are we
Miata.
fans? I'm a fan. They sound good,
Mm-hmm.
but I also like
Yep.
Hondas.
What wasn't there like a 240 with a K series motor at Park one time?
Yeah, It's kind of the wave right now because like SR20s are going for like $6,000, which is
Well, K series aren't cheap. They're 5K, and then depending on the car that you're putting it in, whoa, what are you talking about?
they're like 1,800.
Nuh-uh.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying buy one now and then
You buy one,
yada?
rip it down, and then Injuku makes the turbo man. Injuku makes everything. You could literally just throw the thing in. It's that easy. Like,
The what is it
K-swap
called?
the world.
The motor,
Judd says K-swap the world.
right?
dude, that's
Yeah.
I'm with it. Not a lot of people like it, but it's like it's a
But-
4-cylinder. It looks good in there. It fits well. It sounds amazing to me. But it's like
And it
like
makes
Hurt-
power. Like
Yeah.
big power.
Hurt Life, like Hertz Hatch with his K series. That thing is insane. Absolutely insane. Bonkers. And you're paying half the price of what you would do an SR for.
But yeah, but the motor mount kit for a K swap for a Miata is $5,000 on its own.
What?
Then
Yeah.
find a fab guy. Like,
Yeah.
Yo, who wants the machine set for me? No, someday, hopefully there will be like a dedicated, good-looking drift car in my garage,
$380 right here for billet.
or for the full
Case-
motor mount kit.
K
I
series
think-
swap
think-
mount kit.
Yeah, maybe I was looking at the full
It's
kit.
basically S2000 to Miata. You're probably looking at like adapter plate and everything. Maybe
Maybe like
might have
the
been looking
full-
at the full thing because that's way too expensive.
Because
But-
there was that site. I forgot what it was. It's been a while ago because I was like, okay, that's not gonna happen.
I will say, like on the down, like stuff coming down in price, LSs are going for like LS1 is going for like $1,500 right now with a T56. Sometimes if you get
Oh,
lucky.
yeah.
I've seen a couple come and go. I'm like, oh man, I kind of just want to buy that, and throw it on a stand, and put it in the living room.
Right. I really need to like get a Miata soon.
Yeah.
So I can do like a cool little. I want like a little car, like how I have the mini chassis.
Yeah.
I want,
You
like,
got a mini
little
drift
car.
car.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to like be FD like good, but just if I could swing Spirit Peaks and
Mhm.
have fun with it and not spin out every other lap.
Yeah.
be cool then.
Dude, that's how. So like when I had my Miata, I made a tripod mount in my passenger seat, and that's how I would take my rollers. I had a vibration dampener on my camera, and I would just drive and then pan over like this and get rollers because my car was so low. I could film a car next to me and you wouldn't even see my car, and I'd get the whole thing in there. So like I have a bunch of clips of like Travis and like a ton of people on the freeway just like rolling next to them, filming up my convertible.
I feel like we need an invitational of like the good people to go to
Yeah.
like some sort of like drift event and like just everybody learns, or the good guys that's been drifting for so long show the new guys on how it's really done.
Yeah.
So
Wait, doesn't Chelsea have a school for that?
Not anymore, unless
No?
they do it at Spirit Peaks. But
Oh yeah, that's right. Park's not a thing anymore.
yeah,
sucks.
that days.
Stupid
It's funny
stupid
'cause
people.
We did it, and then it was like no more.
Yeah, they also said that they closed down for different reasons than why they actually did, which is weird to me. But
I was there for the last, like before they repaved the whole thing. I was in Brett's car. I think it was still the
S15.
Was it the
It was the-
S15?
yeah, it was the brown
Yeah.
one.
He was telling one of the guys that worked there, it's like, I'm just gonna do a burnout. And the guy was like, yeah, sure, screw it. Like the whole lap, we were
Yeah.
just doing out the
just
whole
left foot braking.
Yeah. It was,
He used to do that in the drift taxi all the time. He would just left foot brake the whole track.
damn. I have yet to learn that. Last time I tried it, I spun out. And I was
Yeah,
kinda-
it's one of those things where it depends on what you're doing. Like with power left foot braking, you're kind of like milking it, but like left foot braking for like getting your front to dive down is huge. Like the back hairpin at Pat's Acres,
Mhm.
the really tight one. So I would come in left and I would swing my car, and like coming through the transition, I would tap left foot brake to get it to actually like whip and then grab my hydro into it. So you, because it's like such a weird distance. Like you come out hot, but you don't want to just grab e-brake all the way around. So I would clutch kick and then mid transition tap to get the front to grip and actually want to get the front wheels to get more traction, actually turn the car. But it just depends on how you do. I mean, there's like heel. There's so much goes into footwork, like heel toe and everything.
I can only do it on a Seto.
Yeah.
Well, I mean now you can really only do park on a Seto.
For
Right.
real. For real. Yeah.
And I still can't get the whole track.
Yeah. I'm curious to see if they actually get their insurance all in order and open back up, or if they made their money and they're just over it.
It's not a stupid people thing. It's just insurance.
Yeah. It's like through the grapevine. Because they weren't insured for real cars.
Oh, okay.
Basically.
Okay.
And so like the noise ordinance kind of kicked off like them, like, you know, what's going on here? Like Clackamas County never really had reasons to go out there. And it's like, yeah, you live by a go-kart track, there's dirt bike track. They weren't zoned for the dirt bike track. And then, you know,
so
they look into it. They weren't insured for real cars. Like the actual dirt track and no. Part of it is, but they dug too close to the embankment by the river. And so they weren't zoned for it, and it was erosion control type stuff.
So one thing led to another, and just investigation. Okay.
Yeah, so realistically, they got to get their insurance in order, which shouldn't be that hard. So it's just
Be expensive.
Yeah, it can be very expensive. Mm-hmm. Also, if they're fined for running it for so long like that, we don't really know, but I know that's kind of just like the underlying thing that's going on.
Damn.
But yeah, that's like home, dude. That's 15 minutes from my house. So it's like I used to just drive my car there full of tires, shred them all day, and drive it home.
I'll leave it to stupid people.
Yes. I mean, that speaks for itself.
The motorcycles are smaller CCs, Judd, and I think they're a little quieter than the go-karts, or just as loud.
Mm-hmm. It's like people bring like their 125s or 150s.
Yeah,
like the Groms.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's supermoto, the R3s, the 250s, and like the sub 400s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I know Andy's doing like a couple classes over there or something.
Yeah.
But I see what you're saying. Different insurances, because I think the go-kart is the same insurance as the mini motorbikes, because that's how Mack Track can get away with having supermotos and mini superbikes at their track too.
Yeah.
So, all right, Adam, anything else?
Ron, it's not that I'm skipping your question. It's just because I don't know a lot about scrub radius.
There used to be a video by some guy that I followed when I was getting back into this. I'll try and either post it up for next week or post it in a comment later.
I mean, my short answer is that since Yokomo basically just throws an 8mm hex on it, that's kind of like become the standard for me. So, something that I'd need to look into. So maybe we'll have an answer. If anything, go to sodialed.com, go look into their glossary, and you should come up with a pretty decent answer there. And it's specific to RC as well. So if there's anything weird, then you'll find it there. Yeah. Cool. So tonight's it's been fun. Good topics tonight.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you guys for bringing me on here.
Thanks for the last minute.
Thanks for being here and trying to get Travis to get on. It should be cool next time. Mark, like I said, we'll bring the actual drift guys out here, and that's getting into RC, and we'll pick their brain a little bit more between RC and real cars, and where to go from, like if you're trying to start drifting, or just how to set up a basic setup on a car, or how they did it. So,
Austin, do you have a sim rig?
I don't. That's kind of been on the back burner. I've been looking at a couple. I'm probably just gonna end up piecing one together. but it's definitely on the list of stuff to do. Yeah, probably after I get the mini done.
Well, I mean, like, seriously, right now, Fanatec or Fanatic, however you want to say it, is having a really, like, their sales are kind of really stupid for their CSL DD.
About to go look.
So yeah, keep your eyes open for that. Anyways, yeah. Thanks for tuning in, you guys. John, you got anything else to say?
Nope. I think we covered it all. I mean, we'll always have. It's like now our streams are always like, dang, I wish we had more time. I wish we, like, because it's getting to the point where it's flowy, and it's kind of cool how we're getting all the guys that are basically good vibes type of guys instead of like, the awkward, and it's been good. Let's just put it that way. It's been really good, and I like it. Like I said, more flowy.
Mm-hmm.
So, Austin, thanks again for being here. Guys, thanks for watching. Hit the like button, subscribe, and hit us up with topics that you want to hear or something that you guys just want to talk about. If you want to be on here, reach out to Adam or I, and we will go from there.
Yep. See you later. Bye.